Now your Substance Painter layout might look a little different than mine because I have customized it. I have my assets at the bottom, whereas you might have them on the side here. That doesn't matter though. So here are my materials. You can use any of these that you want. These are free to use. I may also have a few custom materials in here, such as my glitter. These are smart materials. These come in a folder. Let's wait for them to load in. Go. We got a whole bunch. We got teeth here, some creature skins if you're into that sort of thing, some different metals. I have a few custom ones as well. A bunch of plastics. These are mainly for environment modeling. However, one you might like is skin face for your character. Here are masks that you can use, create effects on your character. So we have sand, for example, when it loads in. These are to make some fun effects on, environment modeling sorts of things. Here you have filters you can use. So there's blur, color editing filters. There's a whole bunch you can use here. Here are the brushes. So just like Photoshop, you get a whole bunch of brushes that you can use. You can use any of these that you want. There's some Kyle brushes here. Those are always nice. Some alphas here. So if you wanted like a tattoo sort of situation on your character, you can try out these. There's also fonts if you wanted to type for whatever reason. A whole bunch of these. Mainly they're for environment modeling, but you can use them on your character if you really want to. There's a whole bunch of textures here. Let's wait for them to load in. Eventually. These are good if you have like a clothing on your character you can use. Some grunges here. Can be used for all sorts of different things. Some metal, some fibers. And these are some HDRIs you can choose if you want to switch your HDRI for some reason. And finally, your fonts. So I'm going to go back to the smart materials here. Now over here is your layers panel, just like Photoshop. The only different thing is that we have paint layers, the paintbrush here, and fill layers, the fill bucket. So to start off on my character, I'm going to go to the skin material, and I'm going to pick this human's face, skin face is what it's called. To start off, I'm going to drag and drop it right onto my character's skin. Now this is a pretty smart material. You can see we get a little bit of redness on the character's nose as well as on the ears. It's because these maps that we've baked, the computer knows where parts are thinner, where parts are sticking out, such as on the nose. You can open this up and have a look inside. You can see here is the little bit of blush on the nose. This one is a multiply layer, so it's going to darken. This is a darkening in the crevices of your character, you can see. This is the base skin color. These ones are quite subtle, but you can adjust them if you'd like. I'm just going to rotate my light by holding down the Shift key and right-clicking, so we can get that light right in front of him. Now, one thing I think I'm going to want to change is the skin pores here. You can see they're a little large. Well, I'm going to go into the Fill Properties, right up the top of your screen here. I'm going to change tiling. I'm going to crank it up as high as it goes, and that should get rid of the ugly pores. And now we have a nice base to start painting on. So the base skin color here is a fill layer. So if you want to change the color of that, you can scroll down and change the base color. I'm going to open up my character reference. Let me just find it here. Okay, got that open on my other monitor. I'm going to take the eyedropper, drag it over there, and get his base skin color. Adjust that a little bit. A little darker for him. There we go, so whatever your character's base skin color is. And if you want your character to be shinier, you can turn down the roughness, or if you want them to be rougher, turn up the roughness, up to you. I'll leave it about in the middle. And if you've got a robot situation, you can turn up the metallic if you want. This ambient occlusion is set to multiply, so it's going to darken. I think I might change the color from pink a little bit. I'll do more of a cooler color for my character. As you can see, it's very, very subtle, but it does do a little something. And if you don't want your character's blush to be quite so orange, you can change that color. Maybe I'll make it more of a bit of a pinker color. Maybe about like that. And that will give you a nice base to paint on. Paint in some skin details. You can simply make a paint layer here. I'm going to call this detail. Now, one setting we'll need to keep in mind. We want to paint only base color. I don't want to paint height, roughness, metal, or anything like that. So I'm going to Alt-click on color. So just base color is enabled now. I think I would also like to turn on opacity. It's a little bit hidden on my screen, so I'm going to move that over. This little fella here is opacity. Or symmetry. So let's turn that on. You can see now, symmetrical. Let's go into my brushes. And I'm going to pick, let's pick a nice Kyle brush here. Changing the brush size is just like Photoshop, the square bracket keys. You can also adjust the size up here. You can also right-click to open up the brush menu. So you can see, painting on top of my model. I want to give my fella eye bags. So I'm going to take a purpley color, turn down my opacity and flow a little bit. That's still a bit too strong. My guy is really tired, so. And if I don't like how strong that is, I can take an eraser and erase it a little bit. There we go. Maybe I want to paint in some shadows on my guy. To do a color pick, the key is P. P to color pick. Maybe I want to give him a subtle shadow down here. And around the nose, I think. In his cheeks. Okay, I think that's a good start.